All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rechach Quadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops at Great Millstone. I'm your brother, Rabbi Knapp, coming out with a lesson. Lord's will, this is edifying to the Lord's elect. Of course, we're going to start off in the news to see what the Duck is doing. It says, Duck says he is not happy with Iran's choice for new supreme leader. Probably not. I wouldn't be happy with him either, especially when he's bombing your man. Okay, your man Israel, he's bombed it. He did his, I read it last night, he did his 33rd wave, and he hit all types of satellites and shit like that with those cheap ass drones that he got. And it was reported that he knocked down some of their drones. So after all, that's not good. That don't sound good, man. When you hear that they're knocking down drones, that's not good. Here it is. Iran's not at war with Russia. Then they shouldn't. You know, U.S. been at war. They should have way more capability to do what they're doing, because they've been fighting with modern warfare. They've been using the tools of the battle today. You know, they understand how these drones work. You know, so they should understand more so than Iran, because they haven't really been in any wars. This has been a mostly a U.S. and a Russian thing. So they should be way ahead in advance than Iran, but that's not the case. It's showing you, Joel the 3rd chapter, let the weak say I am strong, because they have the ability to stand up to the Duck. Imagine going to war for 10 days with a U.S. America, man. That's just tough. You niggas can't even go to war with each other. You get locked up quick. He's going to war with the whole country. Then they just killed his father. So you know, he don't really got the mindset to be all buddy with the U.S. And then you're starting to see all his U.S. allies that they're not even wanting to participate with him. There was some news, I was watching Midas Touch today, and he was saying how Saudi Arabia is pretty much saying he don't even want to be in the war with you. He don't want to participate in that. Then Lindsey Graham was talking mad shit. Lindsey Graham's a demon, man. He's a full-blown demon. That's the dude that said, raise it, raise it. Let's start there in the book of Psalms 137. So he knows he's an Edomite. I don't know what positions he's in, but he's a damn devil. All these damn Edomites are devils. But this is all good news, man. Oh, and then the news I was trying to do last night, they're fucking with my my channel. They're not even allowing me to make my videos, man. They were saying how I kept getting error codes and shit like that, man. It was saying it was recording, but then when I looked on the stream device I was using, it was saying it wasn't recording. Showing you that they fucking with brothers' channels. Psalms 137:1, by the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down. Yea, we wept when we remembered Zion. Yeah, we came by the rivers of Babylon. We were being exiled out of Babylon. We were, this was during the Babylonian besiegement. Okay. We hanged our harps upon the willows in the midst thereof. We hanged our harps upon them because there was nothing to sing about. You know? Nothing to rejoice about. When you get taken down, ain't really nothing to really talk about, man. Okay? You get exiled out of your country, you were living good. Imagine you get evicted from your house. Are you going to be making a mixtape? I mean, some of y'all would. Some of y'all would stop making mixtapes and shit like that. You know, but it's mostly, you know, you're in a mourning state when you get taken down like that. Mad people died. You're not thinking about flipping a mixtape, man, trying to make some money. Psalms 137 and verse 3, for there they that carried us away captive required of us a song, and they that wasted us required of us mirth, saying, sing us one of those songs of Zion. So this, Babylonians mocking us. Sing us one of those songs in Zion that you used to sing before you got taken down. That's what they wanted to hear. That's what you still see today. They want you to sing for them. They want you to perform. They want you to act. Make them laugh. Tell me a joke. It's all the same thing. Let me grab this precept that my Bible's giving me in Psalm 79. Psalm 79. In verse 1, O God, the heathen are come into thine inheritance. Thy holy temple have they defiled. They have laid Jerusalem on heaps. That's right. The heathen laid into your inheritance. Your inheritance goes into your land. Okay, and they defile they burn down the temple. Psalms 137:4. How shall we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? Yeah, how shall we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? We were being taken captives into Babylon. Okay, and it's harder to sing that song that of rejoicing, and especially when you just came from ruling. You just had a kingdom. You just had 40 years of peace. Now you're being destroyed. Okay. It says, Psalms 137:5, if I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning. If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning. Let's see what that means. You ain't supposed to forget where you're from, where that's where Israel, that's the state of Israel today. Psalms 137:5, meaning. Psalms 137:5 is a vow of absolute loyalty to God and Zion during the Babylonian exile. It means prioritizing spiritual identity over comfort. That's not your spiritual identity, man. That's your actual identity. Your spiritual identity. That was the Israelites coming out of Babylon, being exiled. There's nothing spiritual about that. They were actually descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So this just goes to show you Esau don't know what the hell he's talking about. Pledging that if the speaker forgets God's holy city, they lose their strength, their right hand, and ability to praise. That's right, if you forget where you're from. And that's what happened to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. You forgot where you're from. That's why you over here, you're screwed. Okay? I'm trying to let me see what this word cunning means. This word cunning. Psalms 137:5. That word cunning. They don't even say. Definition of cunning, yeah, it's that. This is dexterous or crafty in the use of special resources such as skill or knowledge, or in attaining an end. Characterized by willingness and trickery, displaying keen insight. Skill and subtly as in inventing devices. So if you forget how to do that, forget your skills, man. I guess that's what that's saying. Let my right hand forget her cunning. Psalms 137:6. If I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. If I prefer not Jerusalem above my chief joy. So if I do not remember me, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. So that's why y'all don't praise the Lord, because your tongue is being cleaved to the roof of your mouth, because you don't remember Jerusalem. You don't remember who you are. That's why you're not playing your harp. You ain't singing a song. That's the key token that you remember who you are. Especially when the Lord is giving you back that information. And so you're not using the same bullshit this nigga calling you. Esau. Psalms 137:7. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundations thereof. So David knows that Edom was the one who participated with Babylon to take down Jerusalem. Okay? So Esau has always been a thorn in the flesh when it came to the nation of Israel, and he still continues to be that. Okay. Let me see what Priest says. Give me Jeremiah 49:7. He still continues to be the devil. I was watching last night. There was this boxer. I forgot his name, young man. He was talking to, I can't even remember the basketball player's name. Dude who used to play for Syracuse. And then he went to the Knicks. I forgot his name. He used to deal with that chick. I can't remember his damn name. I gotta look him up. I'm gonna smack myself. Who used to play for Syracuse, and then he used to play for Denver and the Knicks? Carmelo Anthony. So Carmelo Anthony was sitting down talking to this boxer, and the boxer, I forgot what boxer it was. I think his name was Shakur. Who is Shakur the boxer? I want to get these. Yeah, this brother right here, Shakur Stevenson. Young man fucking people up, man. So he was on Carmelo Anthony's, I don't know if it's his broadcast or somebody else. And he was saying how when you boxing, he got all these belts, you got to pay a tax on the belt to keep the belt. So it's not even your belt. And he was saying how Carmelo was saying it's not even, there's no point of even having a belt. You might as well just get the praise of the people and say, fuck the belt if I got to pay the tax. But he said, but the people, they only recognize the belt. They don't really recognize you like that. They be looking, oh, what belts, they be looking into your belts and shit. So he got to pay a tax on the belt. His belt that he went and trained and fought for to get, Esau's taxing him on that. So he's always been and he said he asked him for $120,000. He said there's a certain percentage of how much money you make that you got to pay to him in order to keep your belt. That's why you got to go. That's why we working for incorruptible crown. That's why we getting money that moth or rust cannot corrupt. So this nigga got his hands in every aspect of your life. He's taking some of your something away from you, something that don't belong to him. He's always stealing, man. But he can't steal this word. He can't steal your identity once the Lord gives it back to you. He can act like he's that, but he's not. Okay, there's a certain way you would if you truly were, it tells you in the book of Genesis. Let me grab this real quick. 25 in verse 23. It says let's go there real quick. Genesis 25 and 23. And the Lord Yahweh said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. The point of that is 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. So we'll be acting completely differently. Okay, that's the wicked and the righteous. So his ways would be wicked, and your ways would be righteous, even though, after captivity, we haven't been, we haven't been righteous at all, but this is still our national, there's certain things that we do that it shows that we're more righteous than him. He eats meat with the blood in it. That's typically things we don't do. Now that's natural. I mean, Paul says something about that, I believe in Romans, the 2nd chapter, how Israel just, they do things without, there's certain things that we do just naturally. That's just righteous inherently. Esau don't do that. He's a liar. That's a natural inclination to do. It's just to lie, steal, kill, have no remorse, don't take any accountability. That's what the so-called white man's like. Just a straight piece of shit. All right, Romans chapter 2 and Where is it? More excellent being instructed. Okay, I think it's this. Romans 2:18. And knowest his will and approvest the things that are more excellent, being instructed out of the law. No, that's not it. I can barely quote what I'm looking for. Yeah. Okay, I think it's this. Romans 2 verse. If the searcher should. No, that's not it. I can't remember where it's at, but it basically says, am I in Romans 2? Yeah. Let me see if I can find it. I can barely quote it, but it's basically we keep the law naturally, without even trying. Just some of the things we do, Esau doesn't do. In Romans 2, scripture that shows that Israel keeps the law without trying. KJV. I think Romans 2 verse 14 is saying. Romans 2 verse 14. For when the Gentiles which have not the law do by nature the things contained in the law, these having not the law are a law unto themselves. So we're like a law unto ourselves. We keep the law without even trying. Like I said, not eating, like, most so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans like their steak well done. Okay, that's according to the law. But Esau, he can't have a steak like that. That's just like, you're ruining the steak in his mindset. He wants 10 seconds on one side, 10 seconds on the other side, and that's how the elites eat. Just disgusting. And you watch I forgot the show where the dude's a cook. He come out, he be cooking shit. Nigga barely be cooking the food. You give him something well done, he be like, a little overcooked for me. He don't know. He's just, that shows you we're just two different manner of people, man. He likes that shit. He'll eat. He eats pork. Pork is his favorite thing to eat. The Levitical law tells you not to eat that shit, man. And we're starting to see a lot of Israelites they're stopping to eat that shit, which is good. That's a good thing, man. That shit gives you cancer anyways. You ain't supposed to eat that shit. The reason why you eat that shit is because of the fucking Edomites, man. They got you eating that shit. The reason why you got fucking Serapis Christus on the back of your car. Some dude driving around with Serapis Christus on the back of his car with rosary beads around his neck, which is a full-blown homosexual. See, because you had no knowledge. But anyways, we ain't like these people, man. So they don't fit being Israel, man. They're not. The Lord ain't dealing with these profane-ass people. They're doing exactly what Amalek and Esau would be doing in these last days. That's what Lindsey Graham was saying. He was all, oh yeah, well, as we can see, Israel's the only one that got our backs. Okay, good. I'm glad you noticed that now. Maybe you other nations will wake the fuck up. Blow this place to smithereens. Hurry the fuck up, man. It ain't really up to you. It's really all all this time. It's gonna happen regardless, but it's really for the Lord. He's doing his thing. All right. That little bit of sin that came in the garden, this is what we're seeing. How sin, it ain't good, man. This is why, this is the time to really repent and really put get your resume correct with the Lord, because he's gonna be checking you out, man, with these different spirits that he got out here. Psalms 137. I didn't even grab Jeremiah 49. Let me grab that real quick. Jeremiah chapter 49 and verse number 7. Concerning Edom, thus saith the Lord of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Yeah, Teman is the Germans. They're supposed to be the smartest people down here on the earth. Is there no more wisdom in Teman? Why does the Iranians look smarter than you, especially when it comes to war? Why does it look like, all these other nations can everyone looks better than you. You can't even hire a well-aged president. You got to hire someone that's out the door. He's about to kick the bucket anyway, so he don't give a fuck. Somebody who don't give a fuck about, he about to die, man. Niggas been eating. He brings McDonald's into the damn White House, man, to eat. That's his diet. That's death, man. So if he don't give a fuck about his own well-being, you think he give a fuck about yours? He doesn't. His counsel perish from the prudent. Yeah, his counsel perish from the prudent. He's actually talking to Russia, Vladimir Putin. Russia's telling him, giving him counsel, but then Russia's also telling Iran intelligence on how to bomb you on the battlefield. So he ain't got no more counsel. He ain't got no more prudence, which is foresight. Is there wisdom vanished? Yeah, is your wisdom vanished? That's what it looks like. Got billion-dollar radar systems being blown to smithereens by $35,000 drones. That's your wisdom being vanished from you. There's nothing to boast about if your military getting destroyed like that. Now you got to send boots on the ground because his plan didn't work. That wasn't initially his plan. He thought he was going to bomb him, and they'll sit down at the negotiation table and plead and beg him to stop bombing him. But that ain't working anymore. Them bombs he dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, that's old technology. This is the book of Jeremiah 49:8. Flee ye, turn back, dwell deep, O inhabitants of Dedan. Dedan is in the northwestern part of Saudi Arabia. Okay? For I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him, the time that I will visit him. So Esau got an appointed time, the time that I will visit him. How is the Lord going to visit Esau? With judgment. He's not coming to shake his hand and crown him or none of that. He's coming to smoke him. Literally put him on fire, burn his kingdom to ashes. That's how he's going to visit the Lord, with judgment. I mean, Esau. The Lord's going to visit Esau with judgment. All right, let me grab this in the book of Jeremiah 25. He ain't playing with the so-called white man. He's tough to all you niggas, all you heathen and shit like that, to Israel. He ain't gonna be tough with the Lord. Lord's gonna fuck this nigga up. All right? Play all that tough shit. Let's see what your doomsday missile gonna do when the Lord get here. Jeremiah 25, verse 23, Dedan and Tema and Buz and all that are in the utmost corners, and all the kings of Arabia and all the kings of mingled people that dwell in the desert. Ooh, God's punishment of Babylon is talking about. That's a beautiful precept. So, because Saudi Arabia is just now speaking about Saudi Arabia. That part of Dedan is in Saudi Arabia when you look it up. Saudi Arabia's news today is that he ain't fucking with Esau. So that's the Lord speaking through your news, through his prophets, through his word. Jeremiah 25:25, and all the kings of Zimri, and all the kings of Elam, and all the kings of the Medes. Woo. Elam's the Persians. And I was watching a video with the IUIC. You know, just the spirit, sometimes I go over there, and I'm thinking, I forgot who the dude's name was, man. They keep saying the Medes are the Iranians. How are the Medes the Iranians when they literally tell you they're the Persians? They just switched their name to Iran. Iran, like, I forgot when, in the 60s, I think. I don't quote me on that. But they know that they're Persians, man. They're not calling themselves the Medes. Then you got IUIC telling everybody that they're the Medes. And they Googled it. They're like, oh, let's go to Genesis, the 10th chapter. And, you know, because the Medes go back to Madai, which is one of the sons of Japheth. Okay, so, you know, so, you know, that's not who that's talking about. Long story short, the Medes are talking about the Russians. They're not Japhetic, they're Edomites. And Elam goes back to Persia, to the Persians, the Carmanians too. So you got to look this stuff up. That's why you got to listen. You can't have many teachers, man. You gotta choose one. You know, and I recommend you follow the apostles and elders at Great Millstone. You know, but specifically them. I'm not talking about everybody. Some people be saying things different that you can get confused within the same group. That's why you gotta know who your teacher is, man. And just stay with that. That's it. Like, I just listen to the apostles and elders. I got other brothers I listen to too. You know, but they all from GMS. I don't, you know, I listen to other people too, to sharpen my sword, because sometimes, you know, you gotta listen to everything. Your eyes are gonna want you, but you gotta keep your eyes single for a long time, man, until you firm in the doctrine. Then you can listen and cut these other doctrines up. But if you ain't got a firm footing in the doctrine, you can get these demons can overtake you. You start saying shit like that, spewing lies. And it tells you in the book of James, the 3rd chapter, that you know, especially if you become a teacher, that I'll grab it. Let me finish this. Jeremiah 25 and 26. And all the kings of the north, far and near, one with another, in all the kingdoms of the world which are upon the face of the earth, and the king of Shishak shall drink after them. So there you go. Jeremiah 49. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me grab this in James, man. Okay, because if you do decide to teach, don't take it lightly. You know, that's why I say watch the elders. You see how hard they work? You got to work. Look at Elisha and Elijah. Elisha said, I want a double garment, or a double, I forgot how he said it, but he was basically a double portion of Elijah's spirit. Okay, Elijah had a heavy spirit. He said, I want twice as much. So you got to do better than the people who taught you. You got to not do better, but you got to strive to even, you know, make what they've done. You're supposed to make it even better. You know, everything isn't fully refined yet, man. We're not into perfection yet. So we got to, you know, the prophets need to come back. There might be some more things that need to be revealed. Who knows? Especially in the times we're looking at. Because the rest of these nations, they ain't looking at it like that. Okay? And hey, that's the spirit, 1044. You know? You gotta, you know, even these churches, man, they don't really know what the hell's going on, man. They're worshiping Serapis Christus. Some of them know what the MOTB is, but they're saying it's digital currencies. That's as far as they can get. They don't understand how it goes inside of you. It's just foolishness, man. Let me grab this real quick. This is the book of James, chapter 3, and verse 1. My brethren, be not many masters, knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation. So be not many masters. Okay? You might know a lot of things, man. If you're teaching, this is what you want to master, man. You want to be well-versed in this. This is what your occupation is first. Everything else, that's just to get by and throughout the day. But this word is what comes first. It says, knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation. So, knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation. If you're teaching this word, you shall receive the greater condemnation for coming out here teaching. Okay? So, you don't want to be many masters. Oh, I got to do this. I know how to do that. Nah, you better know how to bring out this word perfectly. Because, that, you know, you take that office and you lead people astray. Hey, you got something coming to you, okay? You're in a position where you can lead more people astray. So you want to make sure you got the doctrine correct. And if you're teaching people that the Iranians are the Medes and the new moon's actually the full moon, or the MOTB is sin, you got a great condemnation coming to you, man. Okay, that's why it's important you choose who your leaders are. A lot of your leaders are full-blown reprobates. All right? No, just because someone got a title like that, you got to be persuaded in your own mind. Even when it comes to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone, I don't just take what they say verbatim and just run with it. Nah, you got to. The elder went into Joel 2:20 last night, and he says where it says, that word he done did great things, is talking about the Lord. So for a long time, I thought that was talking about Esau. You know, so that's how I know I gotta work harder. You know, but this is why it's good that, you know, you're following somebody that's diligent even years down the road. He's not taking breaks. He's still cleaning it up. Every little small detail he'll uncover. You got to be like that, so you don't slip and fall into condemnation. What else? That's done. That's done. I'm done with that. Psalms 137 and verse 7. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundations thereof. So Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, when you were getting taken down by the Babylonians, they were outside cheerleading the Babylonians. Yeah, blow that, raise it, destroy it. Burn it to the ground. Burn all of Jerusalem. So that's a people that just hates the Lord. Yeah, burn the Lord's temple. Kill the Lord's people. That's what he's saying. And that's what he continues to say to this day. And you people don't say nothing about it. You over there too. He looking at me like, yeah, you don't say nothing about the Lord, man. You're okay with his people being destroyed. Lamentations. And that's Israel for you. Lamentations, chapter 4, in verse 1. How is the gold become dim? How is the most fine gold changed? The stones of the sanctuary are poured out in the top of every street. So this is talking about Israel. Okay, the stones of the sanctuary. Okay, we make up the kingdom of heaven as the believers of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua. We're the gold in the eyes of the Lord. We become dim because following after these other nations. We ain't shining like that. Lamentations 4 and 2, the precious sons of Zion, comparable to fine gold, how are they esteemed as earthen pitchers, the work of the hands of the potter. Yeah, how you go from gold to clay. The work of the hands of the potter. You were comparable to fine gold, now you're just like dirt, like clay, like just like the heathen are. Lamentations, because you're supposed to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. That's what makes you like gold. These heathen, they don't know the law, statutes, and commandments. They got the Bible. They go to churches. They know the rules of the Bible, right? They don't keep the laws. They're hypocrites. Lamentations 4 verse 3, even the sea monsters draw out the breast. They give suck to their young ones. The daughter of my people has become cruel like the ostriches in the wilderness. You look at an ostrich, it's so tall, got that small ass head. It lays its eggs, and then sometimes it goes somewhere else and comes back, forgets where it lays its eggs, and it crushes them. It crushes them. That's just like the women of Israel. They're just what do you call it? They're demonic. They're very demonic, man. Our women they're cruel, and that's what creates monsters, like it tells you in the book of 2nd Esdras, the 5th chapter, 2nd Esdras chapter 5. Let me grab that real quick. 2nd Esdras chapter 5. I think it's 8. Yep. 2nd Esdras chapter 5 verse 8. There shall be a confusion also in many places, and the fire shall be oft sent out again, and the wild beasts shall change their places, and menstruous women shall bring forth monsters. And that's what they're doing, man. Our women are bringing forth monsters. First of all, they with pieces of shit men. They choose the worst of the worst to breed with, and that's what's causing you to have monsters. because you're supposed to be dealing with a man of the Lord. You're supposed to be dealing with somebody that the Lord's dealing with. You women are not supposed to be dealing with these damn devils that are out here, especially Esau, Edom. You bringing forth his kingdom, which is the kingdom of hell. You ain't bringing back the righteous kingdom. That's why our elders tell us we don't need you women. And the majority of the 2/3 of y'all gonna get put to death out here. That's pretty much it on that. Lamentations 4, verse 4. The tongue of the suckling child cleaveth to the roof of his mouth for thirst. The young children ask bread, and no man breaketh it unto them. Yeah, you still don't break. I mean, that's going into you being in a besiegement. You know, there was no bread to eat, but it's also talking about breaking bread, breaking the Lord's word with the people, telling them the truth about the Bible. You people don't do that. You hide in the harlot house, you sing and dance for a couple of hours, then you leave and be a complete demon, worshiping Serapis Christus. You ain't worshiping the God of Israel. You worshiping the God that loves this world. And the Lord told you that you're a friend of this world, you're an enemy with God. So you making yourself an enemy with God by worshiping the God that loves the world, because you don't know your power. Lamentations chapter 4, verse 5. They that did feed delicately and are desolate in the streets. They that were brought up in scarlet embrace dunghills. That's what you do. You were brought up delicately. You were from a royal nation. You don't think about that anymore. You come from a good stock, royalty. Okay? Now you embrace dunghills like the projects, living in Section 8. That's a dunghill. And you embrace that shit. You love it. You won't even go to work just to remain in there. You ain't trying to get up out of there. You embrace it. Lamentations 4, verse 6. For the punishment of the iniquity of the daughter of my people is greater than the punishment of the sin of Sodom, that was overthrown as in a moment, and no hand stayed on her. So the punishment of our people are greater than the sin of Sodom. Sodom got destroyed. But he's saying that it's worse that you're alive and still getting punished the way you are. It would have been better to just get put to death. The punishment of your people is greater than the sin of Sodom, because you're still going through your punishment. Sodom's punishment's over and done with. That's done. You, every single day, you got to go through the curses in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. Lamentations chapter 4, verse 7. Her Nazarites were purer than snow. They were whiter than milk. They were more ruddy in body than rubies. Their polishing was a sapphire. That's right. They're Nazarites. Going into, what's that, Numbers. You know, you take that Nazarite vow. That's between you and the Lord. Just like Samson did. I think it's Numbers, the 5th chapter. Let me just check, make sure. You were whiter than snow. You were keeping the law. You were keeping your oath. That ain't the case anymore. No, Numbers 5 is going into, I think that's the law regarding jealousy, right? That's not what I'm thinking about. I think it's in Numbers. Oh, shit. I forgot where it's at. But basically, you go through a ritual where you don't drink any wine. And you grow your hair out. And you can't make yourself unclean for the dead. It's a huge commitment with the Lord. So someone dies, you can't even go. And if you do go, your vow starts all over. And the only way you can break the vow is if for specific things, like maybe if, I don't want to quote, I don't want to lie to you, but there's certain people in your family, if they die, you can break the vow, but then it starts all over. And we don't have any of that anymore. I don't know where it's at. I thought it was in Numbers. It might be in Leviticus. I don't think it's Leviticus 5 though. Let me find out real quick. Law of the Nazarites. Number 6 outlines a voluntary temporary vow of separation and consecration to God. It requires abstinence from grape products, wine, raisins, not cutting hair, and avoiding contact with dead bodies. So this is Numbers the 6th chapter, not the 5th. Lamentations chapter 4 and verse 8. Their visage is blacker than a coal. They are not known in the streets. Their skin cleaveth to their bones. It is withered. It has become like a stick. So this is talking about during the famine. And that's what's going to happen again. You're going to see people not being able to eat, and they're going to be black as, you're going to see black people for the first time, man. Okay? Because you get darker when you don't have those nutrients. You see people today, everyone looks very they look like they got their nutrition together, but in the near future, it ain't going to be like that. Right? When you ain't got a lot of water, you start looking like a damn crackhead. When you ain't got any food, you start to become like a stick. You know, your skin cleaveth to your bones. That's what that's talking about. And this is what happened during the time of Jerusalem, during when the Babylonians, they besieged Jerusalem and they starved us. And that's what the Lord's going to do in these last days when it comes to Jacob's trouble. He's going to create a famine, just like he does before. He's just running it back. You were being disobedient then, and that's what he did. Then in 70 AD, same thing. Same things happened, but just in a different time, different place. Well, it was in Jerusalem again. It was the Romans. And now he's doing it again. And guess who's going to do it to you again? The Romans. Just like Esau was there during the Babylonian captivity, cheering them on to do it. And that's what you see today when they were bringing in those ICE agents. Who was cheering them on? So-called white people on the internet. Edomites. That's the spirit of Esau. They ain't really their color, even though we call them so-called white people. They're really Edomites. And it's the spirit that shows you that they're Edomites. Just the way they speak, the things that they're doing. Okay? Lamentations chapter 4, verse number 9. They that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. For these pine away, stricken through for the want of the fruits of the field. So they that be slain with the sword, the modern day sword's a gun. So what it's saying is it's better for you to get shot and killed than it is to actually pine away from hunger. Because it's a more longer drawn out thing that you're gonna have to go through. So you pretty much wanna avoid that if possible. And the only way you can avoid that, you gotta serve the Lord. It tells you that my servant shall eat, but you shall be thirsty, or you shall be hungry, or my servant shall drink, and you shall be thirsty. All right, so when in a time where there's nothing to eat and drink, you're gonna make the wrong decision, because you're not gonna be, last thing you're gonna think is that the Lord's gonna feed you and provide you with water. Because a lot of y'all are not exercised in the faith. So you're gonna be moving according to the course of this world, and that's gonna get you destroyed. Because you ain't got any faith and you ain't building yourself up. Even though you've been told that the MOTB is right around the corner, we at the end of days, but you ain't listening. So these thoughts, this wisdom ain't coming into your mind. That's the Lord not dealing with you. Lamentations chapter 4 and verse 10, the hands of the pitiful woman have sodden their own children. They were their meat in the destruction of the daughter of my people. Yeah, so your kids are gonna be your meat. You're going to sodden them, which means to boil. You're gonna eat them. All right? Some of y'all got a lot of kids, so you got a lot of meat. All right? That's the time we getting into. We going back into a famine. And he's slowly increasing it. He tells you in Ezekiel the 5th chapter, he's gonna break your staff of bread. Just not too long ago, he was trying to take away your EBT. The Lord was taking away your EBT, and look how you people were acting, like beasts, like hungry beasts. Oh, I'm gonna go in there and rob the store and all this type of shit. Well, that's gonna get snapped. Your snap is gonna get snapped, and that's why the Lord called this. He called it snap for a reason, because he gonna snap that shit. You ain't gonna have it. And then the people who are storing up food and shit like that, they're gonna die, and the Lord's gonna give that to his elect. So I'm not worried about storing up goods and all that shit. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. As long as the Lord's giving me wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and that's all I need. Fuck your clothes, whatever I got on my back right here, I got my sword, I'm good, man. I'm good. And then I just count on the Lord for whatever else I need. He gonna give me wisdom. That's all you really need. Lamentations chapter 4, verse 11. The Lord have accomplished his fury. He have poured out his fierce anger and have kindled a fire in Zion, and it have devoured the foundations thereof. So that's the Lord's anger. To the point where you're boiling your children. Is Jesus telling you about that? What he's going to do to you in this time? That's part of the curses. When that happens to you, when you're met with that decision to do that, just know the Lord did that to you. You really did it to yourself, but that's you going through the curses. Because you didn't want to repent. And prophecy has to be fulfilled. So when you do that again, hey, you fulfilling prophecy, even somebody like that. And your child don't got to be a little boy or girl, man. You could be a grown-ass man. Your mama might put your ass to death too. And eat you. Lamentations chapter 4, verse 12. The kings of the earth and all the inhabitants of the world would not have believed that the adversary and the enemy should have entered into the gates of Jerusalem. For the sins of her prophets and the iniquities of her priests that have shed the blood of the just in the midst of her. So we were going off. So this is all, you wanted to believe that the heathen was able to go into Jerusalem, man. Especially knowing their power. What he did for you in Egypt, all the battles you won at that point, none of that shit mattered when the Lord's judgment came. It would have been better for you to just keep the law, statutes, commandments, and obey the Lord, but then you went off. It tells you in the book of Deuteronomy, the 32nd chapter, that Jeshurun waxed fat. You know, when you got too fat. Just like Esau today, he's too fat. Deuteronomy 32, and I'll start at 12. So the Lord alone did lead him, and there was no strange God with him, talking about Israel. He made him ride on the high places of the earth, talking about Jerusalem, that he might eat the increase of the fields. And he made him to suck honey out of the rock and oil out of the flinty rock, butter of kine and milk of sheep with fat of lambs and rams of the breed of Bashan, and goats with the fat of kidneys of wheat. And thou didst drink the pure blood of the grape. So we were living very well. Top meats, top drink, to the best you could get. But Jeshurun waxed fat. Jeshurun is another way of talking about Israel. Deuteronomy 32 and 15. But Jeshurun waxed fat and kicked. Thou art waxen fat. Thou art grown thick. Thou art covered with fatness. When he forsook God, which made him and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation. So you waxed fat, meaning you were getting so comfortable. The Lord, he fattened you up. And that's the position that Esau is in today. Okay, he's like a heifer at bull. I forgot how it says it, but like a heifer at grass. So you know he's just fat. He done ate so much, and he's still trying to eat. Just greedy. To the point where he's breaking the laws, and he's not even appreciative of the person who put him in that position. And Esau never gave reverence to the Lord. He somewhat did, you know, before, but it was all false because he never really kept the laws. It was all a facade, showing you he's just a stupid ass heathen. And he got you other heathen believing his same doctrine. So you wax fat. Lamentations chapter 4. In verse 13, for the sins of her prophets and the iniquities of her priests that have shed the blood of the just in the midst of her. They have wandered as blind men in the streets. They have polluted themselves with blood so that man could not touch their garments. So you just became even your prophets, your priests, polluting yourselves, man. Okay? Let's look that up as a matter of fact. Maybe it can elaborate. Lamentations 4 verse 14. Lamentations 4 verse 14. Let's see what it says. Describes the spiritual and physical degradation of Judah's leaders, prophets, and priests during the siege of Jerusalem. They are depicted as blind, reeling in the streets, and so defiled by blood guiltiness that they became ritually untouchable. See? Became an abomination to the Lord. Okay? It was for the priests to be teaching you the right doctrine. Okay? It was up to the priests to be telling you what you should be doing in order for you to not to go the wrong way. So it starts for them and then it trickles down to the people. Lamentations chapter 4 in verse number 15. They cried unto them, depart ye, it is unclean, depart, depart, touch not. When they fled away and wandered, they said among the heathen, they shall no more sojourn there. Let's see what that's talking about. Lamentations 4 verse 15. They said among the heathen. Let's see what that's talking about. Describes the utter rejection and humiliation of the people of Jerusalem, who are treated as outcasts and unclean, like lepers by surrounding nations after God's judgment. Yeah, nobody wants to mess with you. And that's the same thing that's going to happen to Esau. He said, he that is persecuted and none hindereth. That's the same with us. Nobody wanted to help us out. You saw we were being besieged. We had a bunch of different treaties with all these other nations. We had a bunch of different allies. None of them did nothing. And that's the same thing that's going to happen to this place. When you're wicked like that, the Lord, He going to just judge you. And nobody's going to want to fuck with you. And that's why these other nations are saying, I ain't letting you use my military base. I ain't helping you with nothing. All they're going to help with is with those they're going to help put you to death. That's the time we're getting into. Lamentations chapter 4 in verse 16, the anger of the Lord have divided them. He will no more regard them. They respected not the persons of the priests. They favored not the elders. So that's the same position that you Israelites are in today. You don't respect your priests. You don't respect your elders. Okay? Those who are teaching this word, not just your regular old man and woman. No, those are the ones in your nation who actually got wisdom from the Lord. You don't respect them. All right? So the same calamities are going to happen to you. You're going to become like a stick. You're going to pine away. You're going to sodden your children. You're going to get all of that. Lamentations chapter 4 and verse 17. As for us, our eyes as yet failed for our vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us. That's right, for our help. We have watched for a nation that cannot save us. Okay? Probably thinking Egypt's going to help. No, it ain't. Just like today, you think America's going to help you. It ain't. It's here to destroy you. It's already used its purpose. It was created to put you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans into slavery. It's supposed to put you in captivity. But now the Lord gave us the word, and it's game over. This place is done. That's it. Now the Lord's dealing with his nation again. He wasn't dealing with you before. He hid his face from you. He was punishing you. But now he's reaching out his hand. Punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. Lamentations chapter 4, in verse number 18. They hunt our steps that we cannot go in our streets. Our end is near. Our days are fulfilled, for our end is come. That's right. When that judgment comes, that's it. The end is come. Those Babylonians, it's really the Lord sending his judgment. You can't even give credit to Babylon. It was really the Lord. Okay, Lamentations 4 verse 19. Our persecutors are swifter than the eagles of the heaven. They pursued us upon the mountains. They laid wait for us in the wilderness. And that's what Esau was doing. He was laying wait for you in the wilderness. If you did escape the besiegement of Babylon, you had the Edomites over there rounding you up, bringing you back, putting you to death. Okay? They participated in your downfall. Lamentations chapter 4, verse 20. The breath of our nostrils, the anointed of the Lord, was taken in their pits, of whom we said, under this shadow we shall live among the heathen. Yeah, under this shadow we should live among the heathen. Trusting in these different heathen. Okay? Let's actually look into that. Lamentations 4, verse 20. I think it's talking about trying to run away and getting caught. Describes the capture of the Judean king, referred to as the breath of our nostrils, and the anointed of the Lord, who was trapped by enemies. The verse highlights the despair of the people who previously believed they would live safely under his protection among the nations. So, yep, even your kings, man. They couldn't escape, and you trusted in him, and nowadays, you trust in Esau. Some of you Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans voted for the duck. The duck ain't gonna help you. He's actually going into your nation to fuck your people up. And you voted for that. You over here happy and shit too. Venezuela got taken down. You see the Venezuelans dancing over here in America. He said he's gonna go into Cuba. You see people in Florida, Cubans dancing around, doing the bachata and all that bullshit. You know, he going into Colombia, you happy. He take away the Maduro, you smiling. So watch what's gonna happen to you. Watch what the Lord's gonna do to you. He gonna smile, he gonna rejoice at your downfall, like it tells you in Proverbs. These East Boston cops are demons, man. He just drove by, ice grilled the fuck out of me, went over here, started blowing his siren. Now he's over here harassing somebody over here. Elamite. Damn devils, man. Lamentations chapter 4 and verse 21. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken and shalt make thyself naked. So you're going to drink of the cup of the wrath of the Lord. Esau, Edom. Okay, for participating. He didn't pay for this too. What he did during the Jerusalem besiegement. He didn't pay for, well, he did go into captivity. We did slaughter a lot of his people. We did throw him off of mountains and watch him die. We did put a lot of his males to death. We slaughtered a lot of his people. So I can't say he didn't get judged somewhat, but not utterly. That's his real judgment. Lamentations chapter 4, verse 22. The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sin. So the punishment of thine iniquity, O daughter of Zion, is accomplished. Okay, so that's what this place was for. All right, Babylon. To put you into captivity, and that's over with. All right, now you make your calling and election sure to the Lord. Come back to your nationality. Come back to your heritage. All right, and repent. That's all you got to do. And constantly be occupied in prophecy so you can stay on a. If the Lord's giving you life in this time, man, you better take that, man. Every day, man, I take it a day at a time. Some days I ain't shit. I be fucked up. The Lord be fucking me up, but he still keeps me occupied in his word at the same time. So, hey, you gotta, but then, you know, it's funny. I was on my way here today. I was watching somebody. Dude was, I know he's fucked up. Knees fucked up, just everything. It just made me think like, see, am I fucking you up? I'm thinking shit, you can't even complain. And there's probably someone doing worse than him. And worse than him is always someone doing worse, man. But we want to pray to the Lord and hope he gives us. All we need to do is make it to the chariot. That's it. Our salvation is nearer than we believe. We got the MOTB, everything's there. We just got to stay focused on the Lord. That's it. Especially in these last days, you got to give him his praise, man. You see what he's doing in the world. You gotta be aligned with that. There's nothing going on without him okaying it. All right. So you can't have that mindset that, you know, woe is me, man. Nah, man. The Lord is chastising you like sons. He said he's gonna deliver you, so that's what we trusting in. Matter of fact, let me go over here to Isaiah. I got a couple more precepts. I'm gonna end it. Isaiah, I wanted to go to Isaiah 14:1, and then Hebrews chapter 6. Hebrews chapter 6, I think. Isaiah 14:1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel. So Jacob, that's actually talking about the northern kingdom or the southern kingdom. And Israel's talking about, no, excuse me. Jacob right there is talking about the southern kingdom, and Israel's talking about the northern kingdom. Okay, just like Israel sometimes is referred to as Joseph. That's talking about the northern kingdom. And sometimes Jacob, in this context, would be talking about the southern kingdom. Okay, but the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom was split after the fall of Babylon the first time. Okay, you read 2 Kings, the 17th chapter. Israel, the first 10 tribes, which are you Latinos and Native Americans, we never been brought back to the land. Okay, Judah was brought back during the Persians. The Persians with King Cyrus and all that was Judah. And a scattered remnant of these other tribes, but majority of them was from the southern kingdom. So even some of the southern kingdom will be the northern kingdom will be called Jews. That's like a broad thing. I saw that. I saw that. It's crazy. I know. You just got to be careful. Someone died like that in California. It was a big, huge truck. And then a whole family died like that. Well, good thing you got a Honda. Right. Oh man, that's funny. Somebody had to do a U-turn. Should have bought a Honda. Isaiah 14:1, and set them in their own land. So Jacob and Israel are going to be set in their own land. All right? So the point I'm bringing that out is because he said he's going to have mercy on Jacob and Israel. So we broke the laws, but he's still going to have mercy upon us. Esau got the book. He broke all these laws. The Lord's not going to have mercy upon him. All right? He's going to be... The fact that we're still here today, Esau should have killed all of y'all. He hates y'all so much, he should have already eradicated all of you. But you're still here because the Lord wants you to be here. So it shows you the power of the Lord. This devil hates everybody so much, right? He hates you so much. Show you this devil's a fucking fool. He's a dumbass. All right? He should have killed everybody. You lucky. So the fact that you even still alive, you lucky your ass is alive. And that's the only reason why you're alive, because the Lord wants you to be alive. Esau don't want you to be alive, man. He wants you to die. That's why he practices witchcraft, so he can put you to death. He actually asking the Lord to kill you. He be doing all this left-hand side bullshit so the Lord can put you... Let me grab that precept. I don't want to go too long, but I gotta grab it. Revelation chapter 12, verse 10. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength in the kingdom of our God and the power of his Hamashiach. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which is Esau, which accused them before our God day and night. So he accuses us to the Lord before our God day and night. Look at, they're transgressing the laws. Look at, he's doing this. He's breaking this law. He's breaking that law. Look at this, look at that. Put him to death, Lord. So he doing that on the left-hand side, trying to accuse you to the Heavenly Father, because he don't have any power over life or death. But the Lord ain't gonna put his elect to death like that. All right, he gonna put 2/3. 2/3 of y'all guaranteed put to death. It's the 1/3 that's gonna make it through the fire. And even if they die, they're gonna be on the chariot. Anyways, Isaiah 14:1, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them. So the strangers are Israelites. We're strangers too. Every time it says strangers, ain't talking about the other nations. Just like it says in Galatians 3:28, the Greeks ain't talking about the other nations. Just like it says in Romans the 11th chapter, the olive tree ain't talking about these other nations. Just like when it says Gentiles, it's not always talking about these other nations. So you need to get that understanding, and you need to get it now. Just like what it says with the strangers. Okay? We're strangers. He said you were strangers in Egypt. Gershom, he was a stranger. He was born in Midian. He's the Israel. His father was Moses. He wasn't born in the land of Israel. But he would still be an Israelite from the tribe of Levi. Just like y'all. Y'all born in a strange land. But your bloodline goes back to Jacob. And Esau knows that. And he knows he can't rule unless he has you in captivity. And I was just thinking about this MOTB from Esau's mindset. He probably think, okay, if I put all these chips in these people, then these are my beasts. And I'm gonna sacrifice these beasts to my power and get into a new kingdom. But we're making the elect, making their bodies a living sacrifice, and the Lord's gonna accept them. Is making their bodies a living sacrifice. He's gonna accept them as a burnt offering. Okay, but these other heathen, they're gonna show you, just like it tells you in Isaiah the 40th chapter, that the heathen are accounted as nothing. Even if they burn all the trees of Lebanon and all the beasts, the Lord wouldn't accept their sacrifice anyways. So his plan is vanity, is what I'm trying to say here. All right? Because even if he had all the beasts and all the trees to make the sacrifice, the Lord wasn't going to accept it. All right? You got to make your body a living sacrifice, which he does not do. According to Romans 12:1. It says, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. So we're cleaving to who's cleaving to the house of Jacob? Who's saying they're Israel in these last days? Small hat calls himself Israeli. So he goes back to somebody named Jacoby. Okay? He goes back to Jacoby. All right? We're Israel, man, without the I. We're Jacob. He's Jacoby. All right? There's a difference between the two. And there's one more precept I want to grab. And I'm going to end it on this. It's the book of Hebrews. I think it's 6. Hebrews chapter 6 or something like that. Hebrews 6. And Hebrews 6. Striving for perfection. I'll start at 10. Hebrews 6, verse 10. For God is not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love, which ye have showed toward his name, and that ye have ministered to the saints and do minister. So we're ministering to the saints, and we're our labor of love to his name. Okay, so it's important you know the name of the Lord. The Father's name is Yahweh, and the Son's name is Yahweh Shah. Okay, if you don't believe it, you gotta look. You gotta go into the Hebrew. All right. You gotta go into it. You gotta look it up for yourself, man. You gotta go. You can't just go into Hebrew. You gotta go back to the Paleo Hebrew, and then you gotta mix it with faith. So there's a lot to get the name, man. It's really not that simple. It's all through the Spirit. Okay. In that ye have ministered to the saints and do minister. So he's not gonna forget your labor of love. For those of you who are standing stiffly for the name of the Lord, okay, and you ministering to the saints and you do minister, meaning you're still ministering to the saints. Who are the saints? Psalms 50 and 5. Okay, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. Not everyone in the world made a covenant with them by sacrifice. And none of these stupid ass, pagan ass Christians made a covenant with them either. You ain't fucking with those stupid ass people, man. They don't know the Lord. That's why they celebrate all these paganistic holidays. Even if you tell them, oh, no, that's not true. Because they're reprobates, they're demons. Hebrews chapter 6, verse 11, and we desire that every one of you do show the same diligence to the full assurance of hope unto the end. So you got to show the same diligence of those who do the work of hope unto the end. Okay, you got to be diligent via being obedient, because the Lord requires obedience rather than sacrifice. Hebrews chapter 6, verse 12, that ye be not slothful, but followers of them who through faith and patience inherit the promises. Yeah, be not slothful. Okay, being a sluggard. It tells you in Ecclesiasticus 5 or 7, make no tarrying to turn to the Lord, and put not off from day to day. So you want to be occupied in the Lord. Hebrews chapter 6, verse 13, for when God made promises to Abraham, because he could swear by no greater, he swear by himself. So most people say, I swear to God that I did A, B, and C. There's nobody greater than the Most High, so he swear to himself. Okay, when it came to these promises to our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So his name is attached to the promises that he promised to our forefathers, and that the heathen are trying to sneak their way into. It ain't like that. These heathen are our enemies, according to Psalms 83. So your enemies saying your blessing belongs to them. This also shows you how much they covet, they envy you. They envy Israel. They envy our God. They envy our blessing, our promise. Okay? They envy us. Oh, we're spiritual Israelites. Yeah, I'm sure you are. You're going to be spiritually destroyed too. Okay? They don't want to go through the curses, but they want all the benefits. It don't work like that. That's why you see them fighting for Babylon. That's why the Lord's going to be sending them over to the valley of Jehoshaphat, because he ain't fucking with them. He about to put them in the meat grinder. Hebrews chapter 6 in verse 14, saying, surely blessing I will bless thee, and multiplying I will multiply thee. So surely blessing I will bless thee, and multiplying I will multiply thee. And so after he had patiently endured, he obtained the promise. For men verily swear by the greater, and an oath for confirmation is to them an end of all strife. Yeah, you say, I put it on God, so that should end the conversation right there. Because there's no one else you can put it high. That should be the end of the strife, the end of the fight. Okay, that should be the greatest confirmation, or an oath for confirmation. Hebrews 6 verse 17, wherein God, willing more abundantly to show unto the heirs of promise the immutability of his counsel, confirmed it by an oath. So he confirmed it by an oath to himself. There's no one higher than him. Okay, these promises that he gave to our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, he put it on himself. So if he doesn't fall through on that, then that's him breaking an oath to himself. And he's the Most High. What are you supposed to do? So he promised that he said it in just like Isaiah 14:1. That's part of his word. I shall bring you into your own land. So what I'm trying to bring out and show you is that the Lord is, he's attached to his word, or he can't lie, and he got to do it. He got to do it. He ain't got no choice but to do it. He don't have no choice in the matter but to do it. He put an oath on himself. He'd be a hypocrite to tell you don't make an oath unless you can follow through with it, and he's making an oath on himself to do exactly to save his people. He put it on himself. Hopefully I explained that right. Hebrews chapter 6, verse 18, that by two immutable things in which it was impossible for God to lie. So it's in two immutable things, which is impossible for God to lie. That's one. We might have a strong consolation, who have fled for refuge to lay hold upon the hope set before us, which hope we have as an anchor of the souls. That's right, whose hope we have as an anchor of the soul, which is his word. Okay, this should ground you. Both sure and steadfast, in which entereth into that within the veil, whither the forerunner is for us entered, even Yahushua, made in high priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. So the point is, let me grab that in Hebrews 6 and 18. Maybe they can explain it better than me, because I forgot what immutable means. He's basically saying he can't lie. The promises, Hebrews 6 verse 18 meaning. Highlights that God's promise and oath are two unchangeable, immutable truths. So the promises in his oath. So the promises that he made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which goes down to you Israelites, his descendants, all right? And him bringing you into your own land, like Isaiah 14:1, showing you this is not your rest. We ain't supposed to get comfortable here. And those who have that land, you're gonna rule the world. That's why they fighting over that land today. That's very important land. Okay? That's why all these heathen nations want it. They don't want anyone to have it. All right? But now the Lord is making them fight over it and kill themselves, and that's how he's gonna bring the nation. He's gonna destroy the heathen, then he's gonna bring you over there. So you gotta be, this is a rejoicing time that the Lord's fighting on your behalf. You don't even gotta lift up a sword. You ain't gotta do nothing. Lord's getting all the glory, and we're gonna give him glory when he finishes and he completes his mission. You know, it's amazing to have a God that actually fights for you. These heathen, they don't have that. Okay, we got the best thing in this world. We got faith, man, and the true power. And the fact that the Lord actually sent out prophets to go raise up his elect, that's beautiful. That's beautiful, man. Where's these heathen gods at? Where's the Buddhists coming out talking about World War III? Where's you know, the Hindu gods? Where they at? Telling them what Elam's gonna do in these last days. They ain't there. Moab, one of his gods, Kirkamesh, you gotta sacrifice your son and put him on a wall, some shit like that. So our Lord ain't even telling us, he's telling you to just wait upon me. He ain't even telling you to do anything. You ain't gotta kill your firstborn son and shit like that. That's these heathen. Their gods are cruel, man. We're gonna be cruel to you in the kingdom. We're your gods. We're gonna fuck you heathen up. But it's ultimately, we're gonna show mercy too. You know, we're balanced powers. We're not gonna be just full-blown kicking your ass for no purpose. The purpose is to make you righteous. That benefits the world, that benefits us. That benefits you. Following our laws, statutes, and commandments. And that's why when we get in the kingdom, you're gonna understand exactly what the elect know today. Okay, what they strive, this is what feeds them, this is what they understand today. That you other nations, y'all don't possess that knowledge. It says, making it impossible for him to lie. This provides believers who have sought refuge in him with absolute certainty and strong encouragement to hold firmly to the hope of eternal life, knowing his word is trustworthy. Ooh, that's beautiful. And that's it. That's how we eat, man. This is the only thing we can trust in. Everything else it's gonna fail you, man. But you got the biggest promise from the Most High. That's all we got. But I'm gonna end it here. Lord's will, this was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahushai, Ba'Hashem, Rachak Wadash. Shalom, Abad Babal, Kwam Yasharala.